In my practice of helping the company, transforming the organization to more productive, quality-oriented, customer-oriented, and with empowered people, trying to be happy. The same idea that I use, I thought I should do this here too. The idea is called a mini company. So each mini company would have an annual report to reflect on what happened, why, what lessons they have learned, and what to do. So I mentioned that 15 years ago I had the summary of my life, reflecting and thinking of the next move toward the end of my life. And 15 years later now, at age 75, I wanted to write it down, but it's too much to do. So I posted maybe 1 minute video of summarizing, but I thought I may go a little bit deeper. So what I see now, my life profile, which indicate the key performance indicators of living sincere and truthful in the area of work, hobby, relationship, health, and finance, I'm doing actually quite good. But thinking ahead, things gonna deteriorate in terms of health. It's guaranteed. So that comes into my mind first, and the secondly, and of course related to that, is how I orchestrate my life. Those 6 items, it's good. In general, it's been going well for the last 23 years. I mean, there's ups and downs, but in general, I kept with that. And being sincere and truthful is the foundation of how I would posture myself to moment, day to day, month to month, year to year, whatever the situation is. So each situation, each moment, like I have shared, I would every now and then stop and see what's going on, observe within myself how I feel. So, especially being sincere and truthful, this idea of stop and see is like having a calm and quiet mind to be quiet. And then sort of distilling the mind and go deeper, connecting to the root, the heart, and see what pops up. Usually having that quiet time is very peaceful. I think always peaceful. And you are resonating in the way of the universe, I call it, or more specifically what's going on in our body. Because mind can be a fake, and they try to convince you what is important, but you have to listen to the heart and body says, or the body representing the laws of the universe. So if something is not quite right, you should feel it. Even if you don't feel it, being still and quiet, you go deeper and connecting to the root. I have that sensation, which is like a vibrant, resonating sense, even blissful. Then you're at home. That's the eternal home. While I live and when I go, whatever the way. And the characterization of that eternal home is transparency, emptiness, everything as it is. Because everything is manifesting the law of nature in my heartbeat, blood circulation, hormone, digestion of food, and whatever have I in my body and heart. So that doesn't lie. It's a biofeedback, how I'm alive. So that's the center. And if I can identify more often than not, you are connected to the way of the universe. I say riding the way of the universe. if you can be connected. This may sound very esoteric when I say it, but to me it's realistic and truthful. Being truthful. The word truthful, I hate to just use the words and the concept to carry out conversation as if I know what I'm talking about and I feel people may understand, but it is seldom the case that we have to be really quiet, sincere and truthful. Because that's the only way you may come close or be in the state of truthfulness. And that has to be the way or the driving force, maybe to find the life energy. So let's say it's there, not in concept, but in actuality, as I have this samadhi moment of calm and quiet mind. In that state, what do I see? Of course, in that state, I can monitor the life profile of rating of out of 1 to 10, how I'm doing with this being truthful and sincere. Importance rating is 10, and I think my satisfaction rating is like 9 or fairly high, almost for the last, I don't know how many years. Sometimes goes up and down because there's the jittering of the noise and the situation that pops up in life. Whatever the case, it's like the ocean, calm, quiet today, as it has been. So that's when I can examine perhaps more accurately and truthfully in terms of all those 6 items, but specifically within myself at the heart level. And in the sense of biofeedback, that's the feeling of blissfulness or peace, eternal peace and being at home. That's the way I characterize it. And how do I feel upon that basis? That's the question to characterize or explain at the age 75 annual report. The way I would say is this: as I mentioned, things would deteriorate in terms of my health. So maintain this, if you call it the posture, it's important to have this connection to the root. And then comes the wisdom of what to do. You accept whatever. Say my eyes may get blurred, or heart condition, or liver, or whatever can happen, and accept it, because that's the way of nature. You be with it, not against it. And the sense is that, like when the stomach is hurting, you pay attention, not fighting against the reality, but paying attention to be without pain. Suffering is a necessity to expose the problem for us to live well. So in this internal search of being present in observation within myself, biofeedback, the story comes out, like a stomach's case, or maybe finger arthritis, or eyes blurriness, or anything that happened, not going against it, because that's a stress. You need to ride the wave of the universe. So acceptance, stop, observe, accept, and realize the reality of what it is, sincerely and truthfully, and just be. And the magic is that there's a healing power. This sounds very esoteric perhaps, but as much as This healing power was realized when I was born out of nowhere. And that magic of the creative sense from the universe to be me, born, and now the time has passed and that, I excelled certain skills and now it's getting less to, let's say, eyes not seeing well or arthritis or kidney or whatever the part is. You notice it, and that's the work of the universe. Nothing to go against it, just the information to notify me the issues there. As much as issues in my early days are, I have so much energy, where to go? At the time, you have to be careful not to orient into the wrong direction, because with lots of energy and young, not as wise state, you try so many things and I have done it. It's the opposite of that almost at the old age, which is to dwindling life energy, but number one, identify and you can still connect to it. And the symptom of that energy appearing in the body, because that's a direct experience. And notice it, accept it, let it be, but maybe check around that area. If the eyes are the issue, maybe close, stay quiet, and feel the vibration. It may sound weird, but for the sake of discussion, that's the physiological response of the cells sensing something and possibly sending me a message of what that sense is, like a dry eye or, issues that may characterize the pain or suffering and declining skills, ability. Again, it's the opposite of the younger days. You would focus on the energy in the right direction, not too much, not too little. In this case, at the old age, is similar, not too much, not too little, certain area, more prioritized in certain area, because the sign is the stress or the pain level with them. So as if the parents will deal with kids with the crying problem, you look at it, accept it kindly, and know that's the way of nature. But you can still have that life energy to direct there. And that may be a first step of the wisdom, to pay attention, to realize what's going on, and stay, observe, and extract the information. Okay, what kind of problem? How did it come out? What can be done? That's what brain may think, but in reality, it's that the nature to take care of that. But give the opportunity so that my mind is, or the energy, or the interest, or the focus of what I do is not deviating from the needs. So, plain view of everything in the whole body, like a meditation. Identifying the blockages or the bottleneck, the pain, not quite right. And that state changes because we are alive. If you ate something like I just ate eel that I catch from the stream and have lots of calories and energy, so I may feel different this afternoon or even 1 hour from now. With lots of energy. Maybe I'm going to go jump into the cold water and do swim and all that kind of stuff. Who knows? So that's a biofeedback of reality, not the conceptual understanding of what's happening with word and logic and what should be, but living in the moment real feedback, realization of the issues, and you don't fight against it, not with ego, but accept it, then you appreciate. Maybe you have problem, I have few, but all the rest, I'm feeling this blissful sensation, the vibrating sense and resonance, many, many, many places. And you can just sweep up and down or across. That's kind of vipassana, or in breathing, not just shallow, but deep through the belly. And of course, the posture may need to be adjusted. I'm working on it still because I get lazy. So whatever the issue that pops up, let me just sit up a little bit better as I talk. So that's the kind of reflecting and adjustment and taking care of the bottlenecks to be cleaned up. So you have a holistic view of assessing and feedback, connection and feedback of guiding the energy or observing the energy flow, and you are not forcing it to be something else, because that's mind job and it may have some help, but the best is, to me, is not forcing, because you're rushing and forcing. That's becoming more ego related. Therefore you let the nature to find the solution on its own, because that's how we are born on this earth. I didn't plan for that. The nature planned or did the job. I just happened to be the one. Then I'm connecting like a riding the horse. Actually, I remember Taichi Ono said about riding the horse, because the management, he said, is like the riding the horse. There's the energy of the organization. You want to guide into the right direction, and that's the frontal role to do it. The same thing applies in this case to notice by like a plan, do, check, act, checking what's going on, acting on what has been observed to see the priority areas, either arthritis or kidney or eyes or whatever, the heart, blood pressure or posture. Nature would tell us the story. If you are not self-centered, if you listen to your heart and body, and this may not sound scientific, but it might be science, because it's the nature brought us, and you listen to the nature to guide us, not us to do it, but the nature is helping us to be alive. So you can only appreciate the fact that, wow, I'm a miracle. Miracle is here. The heart is pumping. I can see it. I can feel it, appreciate it. That's the reconfirmation. And that's the moment-to-moment practice, ideally. But if not, stop and observe, understand, accept, figure out, prioritize, work on the bottleneck, one step at a time. And that's it. It didn't take too much, because I'm talking about the process being the way to live. Instead of seeking, you can seek that you want to live long or forever, I don't know, or with money and fame, that could be, but that sounds like a little too self-centered. You flow with the universe, resonating, aligning, working well. You can use your brain, but not in violation of the way of the universe, because you cannot win. We can call it the God, Amida Buddha, whatever the term. I'm not going to go into it. But that's the, I want to call it the secret of being in line to the way. And be happy to know that you can be in line to the way of the universe. And with that appreciation and the confirmation and the realization, then we may, there's the term we, ideally no self, but we may realize the way, that mind doesn't get into the way, but let things happen as it should, and we are witnessing, observing, riding with the way of the universe. I guess that's my summary of the 75th year of my life, annual report. I'm curious to listen to this, hopefully living a few more years, and see if I have practiced or not. Check again what has happened. The annual report, so we review what has happened, and the rating and awareness, observation, how connected I may be to live my life in accordance with the way of the universe, the law of the universe, while hopefully helping with each other as human and also all the living beings. Simplify, combine, eliminate. That's something I said somewhere else. Yeah. There has to be a clarity. For that class confusion or the too much stuff in the brain not help. Empty it out every now and then. Zero base. Reconstruct, drive the energy in a prioritized manner wherever the needs are, and work out the solution internally and externally. That's the way I see it.